Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology, and I'm out here en route on a beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia, about to be joined by a wonderful guest, one of my favorite guests right here in Atlanta, Georgia as well. And before I share with you who he is, I'd like to invite everyone out there, please make sure to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now let me tell you a little bit about our next guest, Billy from the Bump It Up Experiment. He is amazing, and he's got an incredible story to share with us here, and some exciting news going on in his world involving the Bump It Up Experiment, so I can't wait to hear that, and it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to connect with him and just see what's going on in 2023 so far and how his New Year's treating him. So again, like I said, he's got some news that he wants to share with us, so I brought him on here, and we'll be hearing from him here shortly as we've got him on the phone. So we'll be right back with Billy from the Bump It Up Experiment. And remember, with GoTarryn Health and Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back.
I'm good, Taryn. How are you doing today?
Very good, thanks. Great to see you again, as always. And since we last chatted, just wanted to wish you a happy New Year, welcome you back. How's your 2023 going so far?
So far, pretty good. I'm going to try and slow down a little bit work-wise this year, but I said that last year, and I'm still going 7 weeks. So
yeah,
it's out this year.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that. That's funny you said that, and you know, before we were recording, when we reached out to each other, I know that you had some exciting news going on, and so again, I can't wait to talk about that and just you know, just catch up and see how everything's going. But first, you know, before we jump into that, I wanted to ask you, because last time we talked, you were recovering with your health, which of course is most important. You know, that's what's I'm most interested in before we even jump into things. How are you feeling? How are you doing? How's your recovery been?
With my docs once in a while, and they tell me to continue to watch what you eat, although I do that, get that exercise in, and they told me to make a little bit more time for myself, and I am going to work on that. But you know, Tanner, I always say there are just so many needs out there. It's hard for me to just ignore things that I think I can help impact or make a difference, and try and get involved in.
Wow. Good for you. What an attitude, what an outlook to have. You know, I was just talking to a client this morning about his buddy is not doing too well. He's kind of down and just real negative about kind of maybe things that might not be as big a deal to you and me and others, but just anything you could think of. And he was telling me that this friend of his is just, it's really dragging on him whenever he's in a bad mood and kind of bringing him down. It's really toxic and kind of becomes contagious almost, in his words, because he was really feeling himself to be not in a good place after talking to him, and he felt just as down and miserable and depressed as he was. So he was telling me he wished he would just have a better, you know, outlook on
that's
things.
Why you surround yourself with positive people. I will say this, though, so many times when people ever ask I am always fine. I don't care what's going on, because I remember hearing someone saying, regardless of what's going on in your life, your health, your finances, your work, your home life, there is always someone who would trade places with you. And I think the thing that I myself am doing my best 2023, and I try to live my life in a life of gratitude. And many of us come to life at a place where we live at a place of lack instead of a place of gratitude for things. So we're always looking at what we don't have. Instead of being thankful for the very things that we do have. I tell people again, you're not worrying about that. Hunger right now is still at 1 out of 6 that people are going to food banks, relying on family, friends for finances, a multitude of different sources. The military is at 24%. These are the very men and women who help protect our country, and yet 24% of military families are living in lack when it comes to feeding their families.
Wow.
And I always say, if you're going to bed with a full stomach, you're not worrying about all these other people. And everybody, whenever they would go to a grocery store, if it says round up, is it really going to hurt you to round up 30, 40 cents, 70, whatever? No. Or if they ask you to buy a canned good, or just send $10 into your food bank or local shelter fruit, boy, that $10, I guarantee you, could feed a family of four. Believe it or not, $10 can feed a family of four a meal. Folks who live, who truly know means. I made this comment just this week, Taryn, about when I go to the gas pump, I don't stop and think, am I going to put $5 in it? Am I going to put $10 in it? I did when I was younger, but 53 I don't, and haven't for years. But yet I just fill it up. Yet there, because they truly have to watch every penny. I'm not a spend difference to other people, and believe me, I'm sure that it makes a difference.
Wow. Yeah. That's so cool, Billy. Wow. Well, how about things are shaping up, aren't they? Because I know that you were really excited, and I was very intrigued. What's the latest on what's going on? With some of the developments in your world right now.
Probably the neatest thing that's been going on for the past several months is that a film director has reached out to me, Taryn. Experiment, and we've been talking, and boy, we have some lengthy conversations. The past two have been 4 hours each.
Oh my God.
It's been incredible, just an incredible opportunity and experience to share with her. And I fly out to meet her in the middle of February, and we're going to kind of be in pre-production for a documentary about the bump experiment and its impact.
Oh, Billy, congratulations. That's exciting.
It's really exciting. I mean, I was like completely blown away when they reached out to me. So that's exciting news. Things could always change, but right now, yeah, it's in pre-production of putting the people together who will help with bringing this to fruition, and it'll be going to film festivals across the U.S. and streaming services. We'll see where it goes from there. Maybe we're hoping one of the big guns of the big movie productions might become interested in it, and I'm actually create hopefully just an inspiring story of all the good that's going on in the world in the midst of when we think things are going really badly. They're really not as bad as it might. There's still more good going on in the world than bad.
Yeah, Billy, this is so amazing. I think that's a wonderful idea because just from the few of the video blogs you and I have done over the couple of years, and hearing your amazing stories, they're incredible. They definitely should be in some form of documentation, and like a documentary, a video, nonetheless, a film would be just wonderful. I think that's so awesome. Does our mutual friend, Dr. Craig, know about this?
I think I told him about it. I'm not quite sure. I've kind of not talked a whole lot about it because I wanted to move forward a little bit. But I always tell people there are opportunities for every one of us all the time. And so many times, discount what you do because the very thing that you think is little might be the very thing that person needs. I was traveling back from Christmas from Eastern North Carolina here back to Atlanta. I make one stop for gas. And I always tell people when I speak, I don't believe in luck or coincidence. And I happened upon a truck stop, a pilot truck stop. And I walk into the place. I'm always giving out Starbucks cards, and I put the mission statement. Anonymously. Sometimes they can't be, but they never can really trace it back to me. But I just put that card just to encourage people to bump it up. And I said to the lady at the checkout, "Merry Christmas. Thank you for working today." And she said, "Merry Christmas." And I handed her the Starbucks card. She didn't know that I put a $20 bill in it. And as we were talking, I asked her, I said her name. I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Esther." I said, "Hi, I'm Billy." I said, "Are you doing anything with family after you get off work?" How presumptive of me, Taryn, to assume we all have families. We all don't have families to go home to. When I'm talking to Esther, I find out that she's just been divorced. Unfortunately, she was a victim of physical and verbal abuse. She actually showed me her finger that had been gosh, literally the husband had bitten it off. I hate to sound graphic, but that's what had happened. Now, all I'm doing is grabbing a honey bun and milk, and this woman's pouring her heart out to me. She says, I don't have any family. I'm just going home to an apartment, but I'm thankful because I was homeless after the divorce and I didn't have a job. And now I have a job and somewhere warm to go back to. Taryn, I opened up my wallet and had a $50 bill, and I gave it to Esther. And I said, God bless you and Merry Christmas.
Oh, my goodness.
Esther said she broke down crying profusely. And she said, can I hug you? And I said, sure. Esther was trembling and hugged me, just a bear hug. And she was so taken aback. Excuse the neighbor's dog here. And anyway, in that moment, Esther just needed to be seen.
And heard
that was
too.
the most memorable thing that happened to me over the Christmas holiday period. And I pulled off a few surprises during Christmas. But on that day, I was supposed to be there for Esther. And so many opportunities there are Esther's for all of us. Do we see them or not see? It's a matter of if you choose to get involved or not to get involved. I found out I was invited to a birthday party for one of my clients. She's a Holocaust survivor. And I found out they were doing a memorial, a scholarship fund to help to educate people about the Holocaust and for education about the Holocaust. So hopefully something as horrific as that does not happen again. Vera's turning 90, so I thought I'd surprise Vera, and I reached out to some people, and I pledged a certain amount of money to get it going. And then I reached out to some people, and on her birthday, presented her with a check for $1,025. Her goal was to get $2,500 for her birthday for the synagogue to start the fund. Wow, thanks to all the bumpers, we were 35, 36, 37% there just because of people who cared.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh, gosh. You know, between those two stories right there, they could go easily in somewhere right in the beginning of the documentary, I would think, you know, just to set the tone of what you're doing. Okay, so Billy, let's go back to the meeting this woman in the film industry. I wanted to ask you, how did that happen? You know, what took place for that to transpire originally with her?
She actually met my sister and inquired about siblings. And my sister just said, you know, I have a couple of brothers, and this is, you know, what they do for a living. By the way, my brother has this kindness experiment, and she became interested. Her field is documentaries on women's issues a lot. And she was curious about this guy who randomly did all these things and got involved. And so had an introduction and had a 4-hour phone conversation. And she said, let's talk Zoom. And we talked for about 4 hours that time. And we've been texting forth a zillion messages and everything into place. And I head out February the 17th to fly out to meet her, and we'll take it from there. I mean, they're kind of hoping things will start production in late spring, early summer, but she told me it'd take 2.5 years probably to do it. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, you know, she just keeps asking me to share stories, and I'll tell her stories about things. And, you know, Taryn, I tell her, I like being anonymous most of the time, but I don't mind sharing stories. You know, I was telling somebody I was on a trip recently, and I was in the Enterprise car rental shuttle, and the woman who was the driver also was the luggage person. And instead of you racking it, she racks it for you. So she makes sure all the luggage gets placed there. And that woman must have racked 40 pieces of luggage, Taryn. And so then did it. Yes, I couldn't believe it. Small woman, 5'5", 5'6". So as we're approaching the place from the airport to get the car, she's, you know, doing it for everybody else to take the luggage off. She's walking down. I take a $5 bill out of my, realizing this woman's working hard. So she got my bag. And as I was taking the money out, the woman next to me went, thank you for reminding me. When I said that, or when she said that, the man across from us sitting with his 2 kids and wife, he pulled out a couple of dollar bills. Taryn, I made a point to be the last that shuttle. How many people tipped this woman? Taryn, nobody but myself, the woman beside me, and the gentleman across from us. They picked up and remembered, wow, this woman's doing us a service, is being kind. You know, yet not a single person other than the 3 of us tipped this woman. If everybody would just give $100, that would be a car payment for her every month easily. And it reminds me, at least in that moment, 2 people saw me, and by that they were inspired or went, wow, we need to say thank you too. Well, when those 2 people pulled out their money, I pulled out Starbucks cards for $5 and gave them. And I said, thank you for thinking of that woman.
That is so
funny.
Cool.
Now, Taryn, this is on Friday. On Sunday, I'm in the airport. I'm wearing orange. I have my Bump It Up hat on now, but I've got on an orange mask in the airport. And so I see the son, who's probably 11 or 12, the airport with his parents. And he's looking at me like, I think I recognize that guy from Friday. So I get on the airplane and I pass them. They're sitting at the front of the plane, and I'm going on back further. And as I walked past them, I threw him a Bump It Up wristband. I said, here's your Starbucks card. And the dad said, wow. He said he thought he recognized you in the airport. And he said, we talked about your act of kindness. Said all we did was give this woman $2, and the guy gives us a $5 Starbucks card for being kind. And I thought, wow, that is how you teach. You lead by example. So just else isn't doing it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Because hopefully that'll inspire somebody else to do it.
Yeah, and Billy, you've said this countless times before, but I like you to please go ahead and repeat it again, because I think it bears repeating, and for people like me especially too, to hear this and to remind myself. It's not just money, right? I mean, it's like basically other things that people, please go ahead and, what other stuff can people do?
People first of all say, I don't have any time or any money. I go, well, first of all, as far as time, I work 7 days a week, and I still go full throttle with the bump experiment on the side. So you can't buy that excuse. But I also remind people that your hello might be the only hello that person gets all day long, and it takes you it costs you no money. The other thing is like when I said, you can round up at the grocery store. You can buy a couple of goods. You can buy 1 canned good and donate. When you're driving, I notice now that people are the rudest that I've ever seen in all my many years.
Yes,
and we safety of others just out of kindness and respect. It's frustrating. I see it all the time because I drive so much. But what does get me was it costs you no more money to let somebody in front of you when you drive. Simple act.
Right.
And folks, it's okay to use your turn signals, and it's also okay you're driving to throw your hand up and say thank you after somebody lets you in. Most people don't connect with people. That is the one opportunity you have to connect with someone, to say thank you in just that moment. But pocket change can make a difference. There are so many ways that you can do, but yet I have this saying I came up with that unfortunately I see more of it than I've ever seen in my lifetime, but I see where people are expecting the maximum and delivering the minimum. We want the fastest service, the best deal, the most whatever, but when we in turn deliver, we deliver the least. We want, just the inverse, the opposite of that. Well, we should, if we want the most, well, you better be sure that if you're expecting that, why don't you give the most that you have? And whatever you do, give your best effort, give the most of your time that you can. And really, does it hurt to, surely people can find 1 hour a month to volunteer somewhere, 30 minutes to help out. If you got nothing else, just in your neighborhood, on your streets, take a bag, put some gloves on your hands and pick up trash. I'm still amazed at people that throw out trash. There are tons of opportunities, and I'm no more impressed, again, as I said, if you give $1 million or you give $1, you volunteer a minute, you let somebody in front of you when you drive, or you spend the whole month, once a week, spending 2-3 hours on the weekend helping. The bottom line is all acts of kindness are equal. They just are. But we always think that we have to make some big splash. No, you don't, because I believe in the ripple effect. We keep doing acts of kindness, and eventually you're going to have more and more people, but we got to see it. We got to think more of us instead of just me, myself. You got to look outward.
Yeah, very well said, Billy. All this is very good material that will go. I can't wait for this documentary as you and I connect and talk over the next year and two as it becomes, materialized. So what outlining this documentary, I know that this is very early in the stage, but What do you expect if I was just to ask you for a prospectus, so to speak, or a proposal of what this outline draft of the film that you would hope, your expectations and objectives of it that you want to get across with it? How would it look to you if you were to pitch that once you meet with her?
I think she was surprised by what I do. So many times we go by our extrinsic qualities of where we live, what we drive, what we living, instead of looking at our intrinsic qualities. I'm a very simple man that is quietly because of one man who left me that note. If you're ever in the position for someone, time or money, do it without expecting anything in return, with $2,000 that set the course for me. It covered 2 years of tuition at Chapel Hill for me. That hopefully people will see that one person can make a difference. We always think, what difference can I make? And I go, you know what? You can make a heck of a difference, and that can continue on through a whole lifetime, just because of that ripple effect, because of the one act of kindness towards me. Gosh, Taryn, I have created ripple after ripple after ripple that I hope those people have passed it on, because we should be reaching at my age now. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 46, 47 years. We ought to be near a tsunami now. Creating an effect. And I think that's what people need to see, because still people right now, there's still a lot of people who don't have a lot of hope. They just don't. They're just frustrated, whether it's with their finances, with inflation, with government, just whatever it is. And like I said, we've once again got to focus on what we have, live a life of gratitude instead of a life of lack. Things can always be better, but look at the moment of what is going right. So I don't know, that's just my perspective. I hope the documentary would be one of hope and one of kindness, and of how we all can make a difference. We just have to do it together.
That is so awesome. Yeah, very well said, Billy. You don't have to answer this, but do you mind me asking? And again, it's totally confidential, proprietary, I understand, but where are you flying out, if you don't mind sharing, or what region, if that's more generalized?
I'm actually flying to Ohio to meet.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. Have you ever been in that area?
Yes. Okay,
I've not. I have not. I imagine February, you said like mid-February, late February, I imagine it's going to be some cold weather during that time.
I'm hoping for snow, Taryn, because we don't get it that much here in it.
I was wishing we would have down here, during that cold spell we had, but you're right. If you're lucky, you may. Here's another question for you, Billy. Gosh, I just thought of this, because with all the travel, I don't want to jinx us, but you've seen the crazy things with flying and the issues that have been going on with airlines and such. But again, not to have any bad preemptive things here, but the air, you just shared a really cool story about the airport, and people, their anxiety gets really high. I don't know if you saw the story as we're recording this only a few days ago in Atlanta at the Hartsfield Airport, with a woman that got very distraught and started spraying people in the face with a fire extinguisher. Did you see that story?
I did.
I didn't read much into it, but how does that happen? Like, what do you think was going on in terms of the psychology of that, the woman to push someone to that level? I'm sure you have some empathy for probably her and the people she sprayed, I'm guessing.
Definitely. Taryn, I think it's a tipping point. It's like that was the icing on the cake. Who knows what's going on in her life? It could be she's just running $1 short, and what I think is the slightest thing just sets someone off. That is misdirected energy of anger, of frustration. Unfortunately, people who should not be the recipient of that actually are, and it is sad events like that happen, because I would like to think that it wasn't direct purpose at the recipient, but I'm sure somebody never know what's going on. And I'm sure on that day she had a lot going on, and her not getting on that flight or it being delayed, that was the thing that just sent her, that pushed her reaction button to an extreme, which normally, if every life was going okay, she would think, oh my gosh, here I am delayed. Well, what can I do? I just say, I'm always prepared. I take stuff busy when I'm traveling. So if you get a delay, then I've got something I can work on, or listen to or read, either work or pleasure, one or the other. You know, you set yourself up for success. I always tell people, we give people the tools to be successful, then it's up to them to succeed. It's the same for yourself. You've got to set yourself up for success, especially knowing what we're going into with all the opportunities we have with flying these days. So don't go there without a book or with your with some means of getting something done for either work or relaxation.
Yeah, be productive. You're right. Yeah. Well, again, good things are going to happen with your flight, and only good things are going to be coming. We're going to speak that into existence, and the whole, you know, like you said, positivity of just setting yourself up to do the best you can for those situations. So you got to be so excited. And again, I'm excited for you. This is so cool. How amazing, you know, that this is going to take place. And again, that opportunity just sounds like an opportunity of a lifetime. It just sounds like a dream come true. I would love to be involved in something like that. And for you to be taking part in that, I commend you. And I just can't wait for you to go there and talk to her. And when we do our next video blog, kind of catch up and talk about exactly that, you know, just to catch up on that.
Well, I'm looking forward to the process of it. I was kind of surprised when they reached out to me, and so it'll be a great opportunity for the bump experiment.
It will. Yeah. You know, and besides that, Billy, I mean, as if, you know, again, you have plenty going on in your world right now. What else is going on task for the rest of, you know, here we are in the new year, 2023. And as we're trucking forward to the rest of this calendar year, what else are you looking forward to?
Aaron, I'm just playing catch up from 2022.
Yeah.
It was funny on one of my checkups with one of the doctors. They looked at my calendar and they go, "So you don't have days off, do you?" And I go, "What makes you say that?" I don't see any on your calendar. I do it old school and with the phone and also with the calendar. And he says, "I want you to figure out how you at least take a few days off once in a while." So I'm going to try and finish projects from 2022, because my thing is, Taryn, I can't help but get involved in so many different things that I got to remember too. I got to take care of myself so I can take care of everybody else. So I've got to remember that. Yeah, my goal is just to continue doing what I do, though, because that brings me pleasure and brings me joy. And I actually just posted something today about we all need a little joy. What brings you joy? How can you give joy? I just think we all need a little joy in our lives. It helps rejuvenate the spirit. Yeah,
that's so true. It couldn't be said better. You know, and again, you're going to definitely have to keep us, you know, updated and posted on how that goes. And, you know, when we do our next video blog together again, I can't wait to see, hear about the exciting things that are going on with this documentary. And, you know, again, I know that you've got so many ideas in putting into this documentary. I'm thinking that just from my perspective, it's almost like you have so much content. How are you going to fit it all in? I think your challenge, in my opinion, will be having so much to cut down and trim and not want to leave anything important out, but at the same time say, wow, well, this documentary is going to be this length. I got to make sure that it's going to all fit. I mean, do I have that right at least? Or
I'm going to leave that up to them. That's their expertise. I'll give them
true. Yeah.
And let them see how my mojo works, and then it'll be up to them how they want to present it. But I'll tell them again, you know, I walk the walk and talk the talk. I always say it only takes one person to care, and I'll always be that one person to care.
I think it would be so cool if it were to begin with the story of Bump, how it all started, because that story never gets old. That is just an amazing, you know, I know you'll never forget that the rest of your life with how he started you off. And I think that would be such a cool way to start it off.
I think that is how they started off too, because I mean, it truly is the origin experiment.
Right.
Had it not been for Bump, there wouldn't be a Bump experiment. It's not called the Billy, it's called the Bump experiment.
Yeah, but just think about, again, you've said this before, And again, I say that you'll probably always remember it, but that one gesture that he did, like anybody has the power to do, you know, the amount of money or what have you, but just the fact that he did that, you know, again, he does, I don't know, you know, it's amazing if at the time when he left you that, if he knew the, you know, impact that it would turn into. I mean, you made him so proud at this point. If you were to look back and see what you've done with this cause, that like you talked about.
Aaron, I'm 63, and Bump, if he was alive, would be somewhere around, I don't know, 104, 105. I'm not early hundreds, but I do remember when I was 26 or 27, and he was at an event, and he was in his, I don't know, his 60s back then or something. And when I told him, I said, I know it's you, that because of your kindness, I will help thousands of people in my lifetime. And I will definitely live up to that pledge I made to him.
Wow. Wow. That must have just taken him so far back. I mean, just, you know, what a statement. So powerful. I would have loved to have seen his reaction to that.
He actually had tears in his eyes, and he gave me a big hug.
Wow.
It was an in time.
Oh man, that's so cool. And now it's your turn to be Bump, and what you've been doing clearly. And you know, he had you influenced, and think of all the people that are going to be influenced now because of you and what you've created. You created a monster, a good monster, and that is great. And Billy, I apologize. I'm sorry that I kept you longer than I promised, but I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know we went a little further today. I'm going to let you go, but before we do, let's tell everyone, I guess, the best way to reach you and learn more about the Bump Experiment, please.
You can always find me on thebumpexperiment.com. I'm on Instagram, Bump It Up Guy, and the Bump Experiment as well. Also Facebook. I do Twitter occasionally. I'm not as big on Twitter right now as posting, but you'll still find me on most media social platforms that you can connect to from the Bump Experiment.
Great. All right. Well, we'll put that on the screen when we fade to black momentarily. And Billy, thank you again. And I appreciate your time. We're going to let you go. And in the meantime, safe travels through trip to Ohio. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and can't wait rather to hear how it goes.
Well, thank you much, Taryn. Thanks for letting me share today. I appreciate it. Have a good week ahead.
Yeah, my pleasure. You too, Billy. And here comes your contact information right now.